Good morning everyone. Myself Shikha Agarwal, Assistant Professor in IT Department of Ajay Kumar Garg Engineering College. So in the previous lecture I have discussed about the concepts of sorting. There are the various types of sorting. Then after that I have discussed the heap sort. Now today in this lecture I am going to discuss one more type of a sorting, that is called quick sort. When we talk about the concept of quick sort, we can say quick sort is a sorting technique. Basically, as we all are aware, what do you mean by the term sorting? It means we are arranging our data either in ascending order or descending order, right? So, but when we talk about the quick sort, remember one thing, it is being used on the basis of divide and conquer approach. Whatever the things we have, first of all, we need to divide the element. On what basis we will discuss, and then in the final answer we will have to talk about the conquer approach. So when we talk about the divide approach, first of all we need to pick up a pivot element, and after that we have to apply the partition or like rearranging the array into the two sub arrays in such a manner that each an element in the sub array is less than or equal to the pivot element on the left side, and all the elements which is being greater than or equals to on the right sub of the array, that is the largest elements. So this is on the basis of that we have to divide it. Then we can say, when I am talking about the conquer approach says whatever the method we have applied for the division, we have to apply it recursively so that the two sorted sub arrays is being called, and onto which we have to apply the function that is called quick sort. Then when I am talking about the concept of quick sort, we have to talk about the one element, right? As I in the previous slide I have already told you, the quick sort is being based on the pivot element. Now first of all we should understand the concept of pivot element. In the case of the pivot element, whatever the data is being given to us, right, whatever the elements is being given into an array. Suppose if I say this is an array A, so suppose this array is given, into which we have to remember one thing. Suppose this x's element is coming out to be on the pivot element, so into that case there is being divided into the two sub arrays, array on the left side and array on the right side. So remember one thing, all the elements on left side of the sub array all are smaller or equals to x, but all the elements on the right side, they all are greater than the value x, or you can say according to the pivot element, right? So this is what the divide and conquer approach says. And now what happens, we have to call the quick sort on the two sub arrays, and this particular function is being called recursively so that we will find it again and again. We will be finding a pivot element and reaches to the final destination. Then we can talk about how we need to select an element as a pivot element. Basically we can say, when we talk about the quick sort algorithm, the process fundamental of the quick sort algorithm is the partition, right? So on basis of that, whatever the partition work is being done, into basis of that, first of all we have to select the pivot element by applying the partition method. Now we are having an options how we need to check whether which element is a pivot element. So we can say first element can also be a pivot element, the last element, middle element and the random element. Any element can be the pivot element depending upon which type of an algorithm we are using, and on the basis of that, whatever the location is being finding for a pivot element, always remember the left side all the elements are smaller and all the elements on the right side they are bigger, or you can say largest. Then after that, let's talk about one example. Suppose if I given you an array, this particular array is being given, into this array there are the various number of elements, right? Fine. So if this is a 9 elements array, if I say, suppose if I consider the last element as a pivot element, conditions. So on the basis of that, let's assume into the given array that the 3 is the pivot element. Now how we need to work onto the using of pivot element? First of all, what happens, we have to consider the two list, that particular depending upon the pivot element, that particular list the complete array is being divided into the two sub arrays. So how we need to do the division of the sub arrays? Depending upon the concept of partition. So onto this array, first of all we need to apply the concept of partition, and on the basis of the partition, the pivot elements occupies its own position, and you can check all the elements on the left side are lesser than or equals to the pivot element, and all the elements on the right hand side of the pivot elements, they are largest, right? They are not necessary that they should be in the arranged order, right? Then we can say, when I am talking about the pivot element, after that we have to find the pivot elements of the sub list, and again that particular partition process is being repeatedly on the various two sub list. So suppose if I say on the left side, again let's assume the last element as a pivot element. So then in the left sub side we find that 1 is a pivot element, and similarly in the second sub side we can find that 6 as a pivot element. Now after generating these conditions, now again this is a one array, let's say this is the name as A1 and this array as a name A2. So we have divided the complete elements of an arrays into the two parts, and into which in this array we consider 1 as a pivot element, and in this we have considered 6 as a pivot element. As you can see that the 3 holds its own original position. Again and again we have to apply the partition to our sub list around the pivot elements. Just for example, if I say that 1 is a pivot element into this list, then we can say 1 hold its own position. On the left side it is having a smaller elements, and on the right largest, right? Then again if the 6 is a pivot element, then we can say this is the smallest, or you can say left side, and this is the right side. Similarly, again and again we have to apply the partition concept until we reaches to the final destination. So into this case, this is the way how we are finding the complete list. Fine. And in the end, whenever again and again the pivot element is being called recursively, then we are getting a sorted array. This is the way how the quicksort works. When I am talking about the quicksort, let's take a one real-time example, but before that we will discuss about the algorithm, how that algorithm works when we talk about the quicksort. So let's discuss about the code. First of all, if I name the function is as quicksort, so this is the name of the function in which we are defining that we have to apply the quicksort algorithm. First thing. Then into this we have passed the 3 parameters. The first is A. A stands for an array or the data elements on which we need to apply the concept of quicksort. Then after that we have applied the letter P, which indicates the first element or the first location in the array, right? And R depends upon the last location in the array. Fine. Then first of all we need to check the condition if P is less than R, because we have to arrange the data either in ascending order or descending order, and on the basis of that we have to check the condition. If I said P is a first location, suppose if I am using this particular array as an example, so let's do the numbering. If I say 2, 8, 7, 1, 3, 5, 6 and 7. Suppose if I write the conditions for this quicksort A, P, R. So into this condition we can say this is an array A, this is the first location as P, this is the last location as R, right? This is the way how we have to maintain the array. After maintaining this array, then what we need to do is, this particular element is being repeated, so we can take it as 4, right? So suppose if I taking this element as a 4, right? So this is a last element, last location. Suppose if I do the numbering of these elements, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we can say the value of P is equals to 1 and the value of R is equals to 8, right? So on the basis of this algorithm, we have to check if P is less than R. So we can say if P is less than R, or we can say 1 is less than 8. Condition true. If the condition is true, then we have to call the Q is equals to partition A comma P comma R. So then into the Q we have to call the concept of partition on A comma P comma R. Then we have to call the quicksort function again on whatever the elements Q comes, it will hold its pivot position. So we can say Q is a pivot element. Right? Then we have to divide the list or the array into the two sublists on the left side and the right side. So on the left side we can say we have to call the quicksort on A comma P comma Q minus 1 and quicksort on A comma Q plus 1 comma R. How? Let me explain you this thing. For example, if I explain you about this array, suppose if I give you this array, right, this is an P position, this is an R position. If I say this is a pivot element, right, after doing the first onto the partition, let's say the pivot elements hold its position, right. So according to the algorithm, this element is Q, right. So we can say this was an P, so we can say this is called Q minus 1 location based on this particular parameter, and this element is a Q plus 1 and this was already on the R location. This is the way how the quicksort function is being called on sub arrays, right. Now after that what we need to do is, now we have to call the one function which is called partition. Now how the partition works, this is the algorithm how we need to talk about the concept of partition. So we need to sort the entire array. Into that case we have to call the quicksort algorithm onto the length of A, which is an array up to the length of total, right. So first of all we have to call the function partition, into which we have to write x is equals to AR. So on the basis of this particular algorithm, if I say x is equals to A of R, so we can say x is equals to 4, because element on the rth location in the array is element 4. So we need to define that x is equals to 4, right. Then after that we have to set the two pointers, one is I and another is J. For the I we have to set the pointer P minus 1. So if I say I is equals to P minus 1, then we can say I is equals to 1 minus 1, it becomes 0. So let's say we have to set the pointer as I here, right. Then after that we have to talk about J. We have to generate the loop for J is equals to P to R minus 1. So initially when we talk about the loop, we can say J is on P. So we can say J is equals to P. It indicates initially the J value is equals to 1, right. Now on the basis of that we have to check that if AJ is less than equals to X. Now let's start the step number 1. If J is 1 is less than equals to X, what was X? That is equals to 4. So we can say if A1 kya hai? Then we are having 2, right, is less than equals to 4. So 2 is less than equals to 4, condition is true. If the condition is true, then we have to move I is equals to I plus 1, then exchange AI with AJ, right. If the condition comes true, then what needed to do? I is equals to I plus 1. Here I was on 0. Now we have to move one position, then I comes here, right, and J is already on that location. So there will be no swapping, but we have to show that we will swap AI with AJ. Then after that, second step says if AJ is equals to 2 for the loop, 2 is less than equals to X. What was A2? That is an 8, right. So we can see 8 is less than equals to 4, condition false. If the condition is false, then I is equal, it will not go into the loop and it will move to the further. Then in the third step, we have to check if A3 is less than equals to X. Now again we need to check its next location is 7. So into that case, we have to check 7 is less than equals to 4. Again, the condition is false, right? So if we move further into this question, then we find, suppose this is an array 2, 8, 7, 1, 3, 5, 6 and 4. As we have discussed that I is here. Now because both the conditions are false up to the step number 3, now the j will move to a is equals to 4, right? So when we say if A4, this is step number 4, if the A4 is less than equals to X. Now what is A4? This is j. So A4 is 1. 1 is less than equals to 4. Condition true. If the condition is true, then we have to do is I is equals to I plus 1. What is the location of I? 1. So it means I is equals to 2, right? So I will come over here. Then we have to do the exchange A I with A j. So we can check that 8 is being removed or exchanged or swapped with 1 and 1 is removed or swapped with 8. Fine. So after this, we will be getting an array as 2, 1, 7, 8, 3, 5, 6 and 4. This is R. This is P. This is I. Now the j comes on next location, right? Now on step number 5, we need to check if A5 is less than equals to X. What is A5? That is 3. 3 is less than equals to 4. Condition true. If the condition is true, then I is equals to I plus 1. Initially I is on 2, so it will become plus 1, that becomes 3. Then again exchange A I with A j. What is the location of j is 3. What is the location of I is 7, right? Because plus 1, so it comes to 7. So 7 is being swapped with 3, right? And finally we are getting an array as 2, 1, 3, 8, 7, 5, 6 and 4. J comes on 5, right? Now again step number 6. If A6 is less than equals to X, right? What is A6? That is 5. So 5 is less than equals to 4. Condition false, right? So it will not go into the loop. Next, j will becomes plus 1, right? J will plus 1. So j comes on 6. So now if A7 is less than equals to X, what is A7? That is 6. 6 is less than equals to 4. Condition again false. Now according to the algorithm, you can check that we have to execute the loop up to r minus 1. So we have executed the complete for loop. Now after the completion of the for loop, now you can see finally we are getting an array as 2, 1, 3, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4 and 3, right? You can say this is R, this is P, right? Now you can say this is I is on 3, sorry, I is on 3, right? Then this is also equals to the value of X, right? So in the final step, you can check into the algorithm what we did. we have to, in the final, after completion of the loop, we have to exchange the ai plus 1 with ar. Fine. So into that case, what happens? We have to do the sum of I, like we have to move the I. So in the final, exchange A, exchange A I plus 1 with A R, or you can say equals to X. You can do the exchange with AR or X, whatever the situation is, right? Because we have considered this element as a pivot element, right? So after exchanging AI, A plus 1, it becomes 2, 1, 3. Then we are having a, sorry, this element is 4, right? This, right? So 2, 1, 3, then 4, 7, 6, 5 and 8. So this particular element hold its position. So we can say this is called as a pivot element, and you can check all the elements on the left side is smaller and all the elements on the right side are greater. So we can say this is the left side and this is the right side, right? So on the basis of that, we can say this pivot element, that is 4, it divides the list into the two parts, right? 7, 6, 5 and 8. So the pivot, or you can say Q, hold its own position, and on the basis of that we have to again called a partition. So particularly a given array which was given to you in the question, this particular question, it is being partitioned, applying creation, and then finally after doing the partition, pivot elements that hold its own position and divided into the two sublist. This you can say sublist 1, or you can say left side, in which all the elements are lesser than pivot elements, and you can say this is called sublist 2, which is the right side of the elements, all are greater than Q. So now onto this array, you have to call the quicksort function on which element? Array. First element is P, or you can say this element is Q minus 1, right? And on the sublist 2, this element is Q plus 1 position and this element is R. So we will call the quicksort function A comma Q plus 1 comma R, right? Onto the basis of that, again we have to apply the quicksort onto this. Same process will follow, that we have to consider the last element as a pivot element, then we have to apply the partition, and after the applying the partition we will be getting a sorted list. So again this particular list is being division into the system, and finally we are getting the data as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. Now in the last, when the list was being divided and finally we reaches to the final destination, that is recursively it is being conquered the elements with the again and again with the pivot elements. This is the way how the quicksort algorithm works. So let's repeat the quicksort partition algorithm once again, that into this case, first of all we have to call the quicksort function on an array in which we have to identify the first and the last location. And first of all we need to check the condition if the P is less than R. First location is lesser than R. If the condition is true, then we have to take a one element as Q, which can be called as a pivot element. So for the basis of that we need to calculate the location, right? For identifying the location we need to apply the concept of partition, and whatever the location it comes, it is being divided the list into the two sublists. On the basis of that, this is list 1, we have to apply a quicksort, and this is a list 2. On the basis of that both, we have to apply the partition. Now in the case of partition, what we need to do, we have to consider the last element as a pivot element location, and onto basis of that we have to apply the code, and after applying that function on the system, again and again we have to call the partition until and unless we will be getting a pivot position of the particular element. Then it will be dividing the list into the two sublist, list 1 and list 2, and this is a single array considering, and this is again a single array onto which we have to apply the partition until and unless, recursively until and unless we reaches to the final answer, and in the final answer we are getting a sorted list, right? Now let's discuss about the program also. Similarly, when we talk about the quicksort algorithm, similarly we are talking about the quicksort program. In the case of the quicksort program, first of all we need to define the function with the name of quicksort, into which we have to call the function as if the conditions partition, then similarly, and into basis of that now you need to define the function for the partition also. So we are using the function def, and then we have to call the partition function, and similarly how the algorithm works, in the similar manner we will write in the code also. Into that code, suppose if I deliver the data into this form, then initially it will print both the elements, unsorted data also and sorted array also, right? So this is the way how the quicksort algorithm works.